Hi folks, welcome back to Visits with Soxy and Anna Alice, but today is a special day. Today I'm going to steek my Maya cardigan and I'm going to take you on the adventure with me. So hang on. I'm going to do this as a quick voiceover. First off, I picked up a bunch of wool that I repurposed. It was beige to start with. It's an Aran weight, and I dyed it with navy blue dye. Some came out navy, some came out denim, and then I left some plain beige. I went ahead and caked that all up and also did a swatch for my cardigan, and then my rendition of the Maya cardigan. So I changed a bit of the color work, and I did less color work because I am short. So I didn't do the whole color work pattern on the bottom, but I did it on the top part around the yoke, where I learned to do helical knitting because I did the dyeing, and I learned to steek. Now here I go sewing up my center band that was for the steeking. It called for 2 pearl stitches right in the dead center in the round, so that gave me enough space to go ahead and run the sewing machine down it. I sewed it with a very slight zigzag stitch all the way down twice, and leaving space between these 2 rows so that I could cut between the 2. This was fairly easy, but I did make a bit of a trial and error with the orange dishcloth that you see. And there I'm going to take a cutting board that's used primarily for doing patchwork quilting, and I put that between the front and the back so that I wouldn't cut through the back, because God help me if I did that. So I centered that underneath so that I wouldn't cut anywhere else, just between the 2 stitch lines that I did. And I used my best scissors to go ahead and cut between those zigzag rows. Anyways, so that's what I'm doing here in this portion of the video. This is a fairly short video. I'm only doing a 6-minute, 7-minute video today. I will do a regular podcast next week because I have a bunch of acquisitions to share. So this was the fun part, and actually I had no problem whatsoever as long as I made sure that I separated between the rows, and there I'm checking out to make sure that it is actually caught on the right side of the stitches, and it worked out really well. Then I picked up for the button band after I was finished doing this cutting, which was scary at first, I have to admit. I did kind of take a deep breath just before I started, but there I go, all the way to the end, all the way to the neckline. And then I was done steeking. Yes, I would do it again. But I would also put more stitches in that center section so that I had a little bit more to see with my eyesight going. I think I'd put maybe 4 or 5 more rows in there. Or not rows, but stitches in there so that I could have a good base to work with. It felt like I was kind of pretty close to the edge. Anyway, so I finished cutting that up, and then I went ahead and picked up all the way along each side, and I knit a button band of a knit 2 purl 2 button band, which in the end I really didn't like because it just seemed so much thinner and not quite as sturdy as I wanted it to be. So you'll see in the next little bit, next pictures, you'll see it all completed. So hang on one more second while I finish up cutting. There, I'm double checking to make sure. The whole time I was double checking as I was cutting, because God forbid that I cut through the wrong stitches and then ended up making a mess out of this after all that work. Started out with all the dyeing of the reclaimed wool, all that knitting. It was so much fun. I really did enjoy knitting it. It did only take me, I believe, 2.5 weeks to finish this cardigan. 2 weeks. Actually, I think I'm talking in this video, but I took the talking out so that I could actually do a voiceover. And done. This whole sweater was already blocked, by the way. Washed and blocked the sweater, and I didn't like the button band. So I turned the button in and I hand sewed a 26 inch zipper into it. So as you can see here in the photographs, it's all zipped up and done. And now I have tons of wool left over, and I can use it to make a vest or some hats. Thanks so much for watching.